Hey, once again, this is Hashim Whitmore, helping you pass your barber exam. Today, we're addressing a question from D. Rivera, who is a barber that has already passed the barber exam in Florida, and he's about to be taking his exam in North Carolina. And see, he's taken his exam 13 years ago, so he's a little nervous. He writes about the scientific portion of the exam. So, in most states, the scientific portion is usually between like 35 to 40% of the exam, meaning that this is a big portion of the exam for a lot of us. And just, like, I understand, I get it. Like, you could be worried about how it's going to affect you, especially if it's been so long since you've taken the exam, or maybe this is your first time taking the exam and it's just something that's a little bit intimidating. So the key is, let's break this down. So it's 35-40% of the exam. It might change a percentage here and there depending on what state you're in. So that means you got to know this portion very well, and you could do okay in the other portions because it's so heavily weighted on this side, or you can know all the other portions like hands down and be okay in this area. I recommend being good in all the areas so you don't have to worry about it and you don't have to stress yourself out. But let's take a look at the scientific concept portion. So it's bacteriology, it's viruses, how they're transmitted, what they are, in infection, in control, in like procedures, like and parasites. What are they? And then methods of like sterilization and disinfection. And then you have your federal practices that are also usually grouped in with like scientific concepts. See, once you understand like what you're going to be tested on, you can break this down into smaller chunks, into smaller portions, and focus your studying more on these areas. Now, you can go a couple ways about in your studying. Now, the first way, you can read the material, actually get a book, read over it, and then you'll have a grasp of the knowledge. Or you can look at the questions that are associated with these topics, just like the practice questions that we have in the barber exam boot camp. I think is most effective, and what was most effective for me passing the exam is like a combination of the two. See, what I did is, okay, this is my candidate information bulletin. These are the different subjects that we have to tackle. So let me practice the questions so I could get familiar with these questions and familiar with what these questions are asking, or maybe how they're trying to trick me. Some questions might say, all of these are true, or some of these are true, or this has always happened, or, different things. It might be just a small difference between like the bacteria that I need to get stronger on. So if I have a question that I keep on faulting or keep on getting tripped up on, then I say, well, let me go to the book. Now, if you don't have a book, you can go to like Google and look up the difference. But whatever it is, you gotta look it up. And then you read it. And I'm good with reading, but you know what I'm really good at is when I have a piece of information that I really want to cement it into my brain, then I draw a picture of it. But I say, okay, well, this is what this strand of virus looks like, or this is how this virus is transmitted. And I'll draw like a picture of a guy sneezing, or some type of that represent a touch or taste or something flying through the air, it means that that's how this virus is transmitted. Or I'll draw a picture of this is how we sanitize this implement versus this tool, or whatever it is. I try to draw that I'm struggling with. I draw a picture of, and so I would have like on my wall all these things. But the next time I would go to this practice test, took a while to get that out. Once I would go back to the practice test and look at those questions, not only did I have the memory of what I read, but I also had a memory of what I drew, and it just cemented it in my brain for me. So now I just had to make sure that I slowed down and read the question carefully and correctly, so I knew what they were asking. And then you pass that question. Or if you don't feel comfortable with that question, you know what you do? You mark it, and then you come back to it later. The reason why, when you check your answers, sometimes the answer to that question is more clearly identified in a question that's asked later on in the test. See, especially with these big portions of the exams, like scientific concepts, they're going to ask, sometimes they ask multiple questions and covering the same topic. So make sure, if you don't understand, mark it. You can always come back to it, And so I hope this helps, because that has been the method that has helped me and helped a ton of students pass this exam. I forgot one key. Remember, we learn through repetition. We learned our name because somebody kept on saying our name to us, and we say, oh, okay, we might made that connection. Everything that we learn is by doing and by repetition. So make sure you practice, you study, and you repeat over and over again, and then until it's cemented in your brain, you'll have it. And there's nothing to worry about. Don't go into this exam stressed out or worried about a certain topic, because then you take that energy in there with you, and there's no need to take in any negative energy in there with you, because you're going to be an excellent barber in North Carolina, just like you were in Florida. Or to all the new barbers that are out there, you're going to be an amazing barber. And don't let something like this exam stop you from being who you are and being confident, because we can identify what you need to study, how you need to study, and how you need to prepare for this exam, and you'll have your license. And I'm here to help any way that I can. So take care, Brother D. Rivera, and all the other barbers out there. Please don't forget to click like and subscribe. If you have any questions, please send it to me. I'm more than happy to go over any issues that you may be having, or go into more detail on any issues, questions, or concerns that you might have related or around this barber exam or this barber industry. Take care. Until next time, this is Shane Whitmore. Peace.